Everyone, Crewcaster here, and we are back with Tower of Fantasy. Today I want to share some exploration tips and tricks that I've picked up along the way, and so you guys can use them as well. The first off, we have a pretty simple one, but also the most important one, is looking out for these waypoints or markers on the map for these exploration points. So as you can see here on the mini-map, there's like these little markers here, one's glowing, one's not. There's some like supply pod over here. All these are important so you can go from point to point getting different things. The one that's lit up here is this dandelions. That means I just hit that, and then like there's a black nucleus right here. Just hit that, and I can collect it just like that. But then for the ones that are grayed out or not lit up, like this one here, you can't interact with it yet or can't gain the nucleus from it yet. So if I press F on this, it'll say a date 2 days away, I can collect this. So I kind of have to wait. It's a time-gated feature. And then for the ones that are like little circular robots, those are supply pods. Unfortunately, with those, they do not have like a grayed out version, but sometimes they can be locked away. So the way to tell that is if they have a red circle around them and they're kind of like burning, but they also have a timer saying how long it'll take for them to be available as well. But another great way to view these collectibles better is actually by going to the world map and then zooming in around your character. It shows a broader range for these exploration points. It shows you the lit up ones, the grayed out ones, and the supply pods nearby as well. But while we're on the world map here, there's actually a great way to check your progression from zone to zone. So if we look at the bottom right down here, they actually show from Astra, Banjus, Navia, and the rest. So if you click on those, it says all of your progression on the track and what you're actually missing. So for Navia here, I'm missing like supply pods, world exploration, which are those are the exploration points, ruins, and scenic points, the space race, and even the Omnium towers. If I go over to the Banjus one, I actually have something to collect here, this mushroom. This mushroom is actually pretty important for exploring the different zones. If I actually go to my inventory or my backpack, then you can scroll down in the material section and you'll see this mushroom here. So this is called a mighty mushroom, and this permanently increases your max endurance. Endurance is the green bar that shows up next to your character when you are climbing, like this, using your jetpack to glide, or doing some aerial attacks. So it's good for both exploring and combat. But with these mighty mushrooms, there is a hard limit of how many you can use at a time. So the quota for me right now is 5, but I can raise the quota by leveling up, and this happens throughout the level, so you can use more and more of these. Moving on to the next thing, though, we have scenic points. These are these little eyeball symbols that can be around the map, but they don't show up as like exploration points, or like when you look up here, there's just nothing. But there's actually a good way to find where these are at. So if you go up into the menu up here and then go to Terminal and then Chronicles, you actually get a travel log of all these scenic points. So this is the ones for Astra. I collected all of those. But if we go to the Banjus region, the one that is showing right now is the Banjus dock. So this is one that I have not grabbed, the one right in front of me. But as you can see here, it shows an image of like what it's going to take or where the scenic point is actually at. So if you go through the ones that you have not gathered, you can kind of get a hint of where these are going to be, and you can claim different rewards, such as dark crystals and those exploration points to make that progress. Now for this next one, this may be a little bit more obvious, but make sure to do these ruins or these structures as often as you can, because they give you your gadgets, or what are called relics in this game. So the relics can include like jetpacks, things that you can make pillars, and then like if you switch between them, you can do like cube blast, and all of these are used for getting exploration points on the map. One example early on is actually these rock walls. You need to use the missile barrage relic, such as this, to blast them open, and behind their walls is usually like a supply pod or other collectibles. Just keep in mind with these ruins, they are level locked, so you do need to get to a certain level to be able to complete them. And they even have additional difficulties so you can get more of these shards, which improve said relics that you get from these. But if you ever wanted to change out your relics, you just need to go to the relic menu. And here you can see your list of what you have available and what is locked. And then you can just do deploy. And you can make up to 3 different sets of relics. for 2 apiece. And then once you put those in, then you can just go in game and you can switch them around by this little arrow key here. And then you can just use up to 6 at a time. And then for an exploration tip involving one of these relics is actually using the jetpack and combining it with dashes or dodges. So if I use it here, get up in the air, and do like a little extra jump if you want to. But if you spam the dodge up to the 3 charges here, you can get farther distance. So then you just press the jetpack button again, kind of let the dodges recharge on the side there, and then just spam more of those dodges. And this can get you great distances horizontally. And then you can kind of just change on and off of the jetpack with the dodges, because holding the jetpack consumes that endurance bar. Next up, we have another tech, but this involves climbing. So usually with climbing, you go up and you just expend your endurance, kind of slow climbing or spamming the jump button to go up higher and higher. But for most cliffs, you'll kind of run out of that endurance and kind of just fall all the way down. But there's actually a way to quote unquote infinitely climb, so it doesn't spend any of your endurance. So go back up here, and then what you're going to do is do the drop down. So for me, it is control on the keyboard. But then what you want to do is double jump right afterwards. So just keep doing that, going up and up. So do a drop down, double jump, and then you hold forward on your movement or direction. And this you can just keep doing all the way up. And as you see with that endurance bar right here, it is not really being spent like it would with these jumps. And then for this next trick, we're actually going to try to cheese these cooperative challenges. So normally you would need like multiple players to do these, either pushing or using their weight to push down these pads. But for this weight one, at least, you can run over to an enemy, smack it, and drag it over. So if you do it the right way, it should be able to step on the plate, and if you do that, then it should drop down the force field. So no need for a second player. And then for these joint destructions, you just need to kill all 3 of the enemies kind of like at the same time. So kind of aggro them all onto you at once, get them close together. And you just need to make sure to kind of divvy up the damage between the 3. There, if you do it successfully, killing them all at the same time, then it just opens up the force field. And then for the final cooperative challenge here that I know of is the thrust one, where you can actually manipulate this pretty easily. Basically, you can just press that real quick, run over, press that, done. Easy as that. I heard there is a third, like a 3 long version, where there's 1, 2, 3, but I heard you can do that solo as well. That's all I have for text, but there's actually another important tip here, and it's talking to all NPCs. So some NPCs aren't going to have much about them, and some even just have quest markers kind of indicating that they do have something. There are some NPCs that don't have any marker indication at all, but can give you mini games, mystery boxes, etc. One example is this reoccurring character named Mogden, which is a mushroom. He gives you a mini game where when you talk to him, he spawns a mushroom that you jump on and destroy targets. And if you destroy enough of the targets, then you get a black nucleus. Another example is these hyenas here, kind of just randomly in the middle of the ocean on some sort of like oil rig. There's like one here, another some in like Navia, somewhere over in this direction in the water. And you can do quests for them that don't appear like over their heads, or just that they don't like tell you at all. You have to find it out for yourself. And you can get rewards such as like vehicle parts, different like nucleuses, like for these supply pods. And you can also get something like a Colossus Arm SSR relic, such as this, which is like a crazy like combat relic. One final example here is actually Hopkins, which you meet him during the main storyline. And once you finish his quests, he actually has a mystery box system which gives you different gifts for your simulacrum for their awakening. The great thing about this too is you can do this daily. So you can just revisit him after the daily resets and get these mystery boxes every single day. So for the final tip here, and probably the most important one, is to upgrade your suppressors as much as you can. So the suppressors here is what you get later on in the story, and you can upgrade them through the potent omnium crystals. And to unlock more and more, they have certain requirements, either gear score or levels. This actually improves your stats as well, but for exploring, it actually opens up more zones because if I go into this other zone here, it says I need a 3.4 suppressor to protect against the radiation. Otherwise, I'm just going to be continuously taking damage until I die. It also says a level here, like level 39 is kind of like the recommendation, but it is not required to be level 39 to get to that protection. But regardless of that radiation, you can still technically explore into those other zones. You'll just be taking that continuous damage, but eventually will die. You can take food actually to heal yourself as well to last longer in there. And you can even get the fast travel points to have like different spots to travel between. But because time gaining is a thing in this game, some of these things just probably aren't available to you anyways. So exploring these regions probably isn't the greatest if you're kind of out of that suppressor like range. But the ways to actually get the omnium crystals for these suppressors is actually quite easy and something that I've already recommended that you do. It's the ruins can give you these. This is kind of like the main source of these omnium crystals as they give you one or more as you do the different difficulties in the different ruins. But besides the ruins though, there's actually plenty of other ways to get these omnium crystals too, either by doing the story, exploration rewards like we showed in that story progress, the Wanderer's Log, the level 1 crew store actually, which does not have a limit. So if you get crew points by being in like a guild alliance, or crew as this game calls it, you can spend 500 of these points to get an Omnium Crystal. And then for the last way of getting these crystals as well is by clearing certain levels of the Bygone Phantasm, which shows up every so often with different weapon bonuses. But as you can see here at level 15, I would get a Omnium Crystal level 24, and then like just further and further into this track. But that is all of the exploration tips that I have for you guys today. If you found this video helpful in any way, please consider subscribing to the channel for more Tower Fantasy content. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.